Okay. Hopefully it's gonna be short.
It's typing.
Yeah, camera might be
We're typing.
okay. If we need. Okay. Okay, are we ready? Let's start the planning committee meeting for Tuesday, September 16th. It's 4 o'clock. Councillor Wolf and Councillor Auer online. So welcome both on it. Motion of the minutes moved, seconded. All those in favor, contrary carried. Our next meeting is on October 7th. The application, first one is application by Boathouse Design Groups for rezoning at 160 and 960 River Road and the PD from an agriculture AG1 to an industrial storage zone. And we have Bebiak Bahina and Josh, and your mics are live. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff have nothing further to add to the report, but would like to highlight the following. The proposed application seeks to rezone the subject property to the industrial storage or IS1 zone to facilitate the proposed commercial vehicle parking facility for 14 commercial vehicles. The site is designated industrial in the city's official community plan, the OCP, and the proposed use is consistent with this designation as well as with the interim and long-term action plan for the 16,000 block of River Road. A portion of the site is designated as environmentally sensitive area or ESA, and a future development permit to consider appropriate compensation, restoration, and planting is required. Staff worked with the applicant to modify the site layout to accommodate tree retention on site where possible, and this includes 26 trees to the south area of the site. In consideration of the application, there are land dedications provided for future road and dike improvements. And lastly, given the scope of the application, there are no servicing works or infrastructure works required at this time. Staff are available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any questions? Seeing none? Okay, all right.
Try
Go
to
ahead.
push my button faster. Hi, thank you so much for the report. My question is, there's mention on page 11 about the east-west industrial road on the south side of the land that is expected to be in the future. What does the future look like? When is that?
Through the chair to Councillor Day. And several properties have already provided dedication for this industrial road through previous rezoning applications since 2012 until now. There are a number of properties that have yet to dedicate this land dedication, closer to number 7. So it might look more like a few decades down the road before we are in a position to have enough dedications to start designing and constructing this road to connect these lots along the 16,000 blocks to number 7.
Given the benefit to having another, east-west road to the south of these properties, have you reached out just to see if there's interest from the property owners? Because it would actually raise their property values and make them far more usable.
Through the chair to Councillor Day, the owners in this area have been made aware of the city's interim and long-term action plan for the area, encouraging them to also apply to rezone their lands for this type of use. The lands are secured by way of applications and dedications. At this point in time, there is no expectation that the city would be securing those lands under other means.
Okay, so you're saying that they cannot dedicate the back portion of the property to allow for this road unless they apply for rezoning?
Through the chair, it would be through that rezoning process that we would secure it. They could voluntarily agree to provide that road as dedication. However, many of those businesses do use those lands for their current operations, particularly on the properties closer to number 7 road.
Right. I just think that if the opportunity was made, if they were made aware of the opportunity, they'd probably go, yeah, sign me up, And there is always the option, if there's only a few last-minute landholders that are not interested in expropriating that land, is there not?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, I'm hesitant to give a response and open on that, as I think it would be appropriate to seek more careful.
So my last question is 14 trucks. I'm counting the trucks in the other lots nearby. Why only 14?
To the chair, to Councillor Day, based on the site layouts and subsequent work with the applicant, with staff, 14 standard-sized truck spaces were deemed as appropriate for this site, not more, because these trucks usually have a length of around approximately 20 to 21 meters,
Yeah, that's
start to finish.
pretty big. Well, I mean, we just had this on the agenda yesterday, and I think it's so important that we create more parking for trucks. And given that that area is pretty much all industrial, commercial, it makes no sense not to do it. So I would be happy to move the motion.
Good, thank you. All right, Alexa?
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you for this report. I'm curious on PLN 12. It talks about 5 trees are located off-site on the neighboring property to the west and are proposed to be retained and protected. So are these guys supposed to put fences up on somebody else's property around their trees?
Through the chair to Councillor Liu, they're only required to install fencing on their property where the root protection zones for those trees may be potentially impacted. So they're not entering onto the neighboring property, but
Okay.
only installing the fencing on.
I was
the
curious
side of
because
the
I'm like, this is extra onerous, isn't it? If you have to go and get permission to go on other people's property? Okay, thank you.
Okay, no. Michael? Where are you? Have I got him?
Yeah, you got me, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
You're on.
you, Chair. Just a couple questions. First, could staff comment on the 26 untagged trees that we don't often see in the tree portion of the report, the use of the word untagged? Could you comment on that?
Through the chair, to Councillor Wolf, the arborist report indicated that there are a number of untagged trees to the south side. The reason they're not tagged is due to the fact that they are way outside of the scope of this development, and they're not proposed to be modified in any shape or form. They have been noted in the site plan and the tree management plan as being located where they are.
Great, thank you. I also would like to ask about the replacement trees, the 70 some odd trees that are, I think 70 exactly, that are going to need to be replaced with the 3-to-1 ratios and the 2-to-1 ratios. How does staff feel about the ability for them to fit 70 trees in the landscaping areas that they've marked?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, there, as indicated, there is a requirement to replace or provide replacement trees at 70 trees in total. While the applicant has indicated that they can plant 70 trees on site, that is a preliminary estimate at this point in time, and we are happy to continue to work with the applicant through the ESA development permit to optimize tree planting on site.
Great, thanks. Next question through the chair is in relation to getting 14 parking stalls for large commercial trucks. I get they're large, the largest of that type, and the need to back in and turn properly to get into your stall. I really see that as a unfortunate use of this kind of space. As it's mentioned in the report, the environmental sensitive area, over 6,000 square meters, the riparian area connections to this site. This is further eroding the potential for keeping some of the remaining peat soils intact. Just down the road from this property, I go past this once a day or every other day. We had a few years ago a development say that, oh, they're going to build a garlic farm or something, where it was very similar to this, lots of trees, lots of peat soils. And since then, all they've done is they scraped all the top surface. That was about a meter worth of living peat soils, sphagnum moss. They put it into a large pile. Since then, it's all died. It's now given off so much carbon emissions, this dead pile that was once a sink, bringing more carbon in. So it's all died and all that. And they put it up for sale. So I just worry that I thought part of the OCP process was that we're going to identify areas for different uses. Councillor Day mentioned we've just dealt with an item related to opening up 55 parking stalls, but in the hopes of opening up a whole lot more commercial truck parking stalls. So I think this is going definitely ahead of more solutions that are yet to come from other means. So again, I'm not on the committee, I can't vote today, but I definitely think we're not in the right direction here. I have no other further questions. Thanks.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, moved. Second? All those in favor? Contrary carried, it goes forward. We've given, introducing it for first reading goes to council on Monday. When would second and third be if it passes on Monday?
Through the chair, the public hearing would be held on, I believe it's October the 20th.
October 20th, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you, staff. Good. All right, next item is a heritage alteration permit application for 3500 Moncton Street, which is Unit 100 in the Hepworth Building. So, all right, we have Judith and Josh. Judith, you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have nothing further to add to the report. However, I can provide a brief summary. The heritage alteration permit application is for a new business sign and exterior painting of a retail unit in the Hepworth block, the historic building at 3580 Moncton Street. The Hepworth block is one of 17 protected heritage properties in the Steveston Village Heritage Conservation Area. The historic building is a prominent local landmark. It was constructed in 1913 and contributes significantly to the historic character of the heritage conservation area. Character-defining elements include its prominent location, masonry construction and wood trim elements, architectural features including wood frame storefronts, crown moulding and rooftop cornice, and painted ghost signs. The applicant, Nest Designs Limited, is the tenant in the retail unit at the northwest corner of the building. They have applied for permission to install a business sign on the fascia of the storefront facing Moncton Street and to repaint the storefront in a new colour scheme. No changes are proposed to the design or materials of the building itself. The proposed colour scheme uses colours from the True Colours historical paint palette that are appropriate to the period, architecture and history of the building and consistent with city policies. The proposed business sign meets the signage guidelines in the Steveston Area Plan and is compatible with the heritage character and history of the building while reflecting the applicant's store branding. Staff recommend that the heritage alteration permit be issued to permit the new business sign and exterior painting. We're available to answer any questions.
Makes sense. Any questions from the committee? Okay, Alexa. Just go ahead.
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you. I just wanted to express gratitude to the Richmond Heritage Commission. I was, as the liaison, I was at the meeting and I saw the depth of effort, expertise, and work that they put into considering this application and the different pieces to it. So I really appreciate the work that they're doing because it's outside of my scope, and I appreciate the work that ends up being done because of it. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All right, motion moved, seconded. All those in favor? Contrary carried. Thank you very much. All right, the third item is the application by Vivek Properties for rezoning at 8680, 8700, and 8720, number 2 road from small-scale multi-unit housing to low-density townhouse zones, and we have Edison and Andrew. All right, gentlemen, you're on.
Okay, thank you, Committee Chair. Staff do not have any additional comments, but would like to provide some highlights. This application is to facilitate the development of 12 townhouse units and 1 lock-off secondary suite. The proposal is consistent with the official community plan and related policies. Access to the site will be taken from number 2 road, and the applicant has agreed to register a public right of passage over the internal driveway, which will allow for access to the properties to the north should they come forward with a redevelopment in the future. Staff have worked with the applicant as well as the arborist to shape the siding and massing of the building to protect 2 existing significant trees on site. In addition, the applicant has committed to planting 8 replacement trees, which is in excess of 6 replacement trees required by the city tree protection bylaw. As part of the rezoning consideration, the applicant will be providing road dedication along number 2 road, as well as cash in lieu contribution to the affordable housing, market rental, and leisure facilities reserve fund. The applicant will also be required to enter into a servicing agreement for the design and construction of frontage improvement and site servicing work. Finally, the design and landscaping would be further refined at the development permit stage. Happy to provide any clarification or questions or answers.
Carol?
Thank you so much for the report. So another townhouse development on number 2 road, on an arterial road. And I'm happy to see that there is an interior road being planned so it can connect up to the next development that potentially could happen to the north. Maybe not tomorrow, but someday in the future. So this is good planning. My question is, we have had situations where people have bought townhouses in complexes like this and were unaware that this road could one day be pushed through, the interior road could be pushed through to the next development. I'd like to see registration on each and every unit that makes the owners aware, because what we've heard in the past is that the covenant or right-of-way is registered on the property, not on the unit. And so people buy, and the real estate agents are not at all, as up and up as they should be, and that creates a very difficult situation down the road. So what steps are we taking to ensure that each new owner of those townhouses is aware that that road to the north will likely go through one day to the next development?
If I may, through the chair to Councillor Day, when the SRWs and public right of passages are registered on property, they are registered over the common property. When registered, Land Title's office does transfer, and those SRWs and entitlements on the common property do cascade to each of the individual separate strata lots. So there is a legal agreement that will be identified on the subject property indicating such at the time that a purchaser it purchases their lot.
So there's no possibility that anyone could buy one of those townhouses and be surprised 5-10 years down the road, because it will be made clear to them when they buy the property.
Through the chair to Councillor Day, that's correct.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you very much.
Just on that, we've gone through that so many times. It depends on the real estate too, doesn't it? Because they never tell them to, I never get the original title from Land Titles.
Through the chair, the notary public / lawyer is to review all title charges with purchasers at that time.
When we send it back to a development, do we tell the developer this must be on there? Just because it does fall through the cracks.
Through the chair, as part of any strata development, there is a required declaration that the developer must file with the registrar. The declaration does list all of the separate titles and charges that would be applicable to the lot.
No, I'm with Carol on it, but as you know, we get it all the time. Anybody else? Michael, anything from you? Okay, moved.
No, thanks.
Seconded. All those in favor? Contrary, carried. Managers report. Thank you very much, staff. Managers report. No managers report. A motion to adjourn. We're adjourned, okay, and we have a in-camera meeting. Trying to beat Andy Hobbs this time.